Some of the best home advice in the world sounds completely strange until you try it once, and then you can never go back. That's what this list is. Not the obvious stuff. 40 oddly specific, slightly unexpected Japanese home habits that most people outside Japan have never heard of, and that turn out to be quietly, surprisingly useful. Some will make you tilt your head. A few will sound almost too small to matter, and several of them will fix a problem you didn't even realize was fixable. Stay with me for number 17, because it's the one that solves the mystery kitchen smell nobody can ever locate. And number 31, which is so obvious in hindsight that you'll be annoyed nobody told you sooner. Let's go. The kitchen. 1. Dry your sink before bed, 15 seconds with a cloth. Basin, rim, around the faucet. Here's the mechanism. That sour smell kitchens develop is produced by bacteria, and bacteria need moisture above all else. A wet sink is a warm, damp basin holding food traces for 8 hours every night. Dry it and you don't remove the smell. You remove the condition that creates it. 2. Wipe the stovetop while it's still warm. Warm grease is soft and lifts with a single pass. Let it cool, then cook over it again tomorrow, and the heat polymerizes it into a hardened layer that resists everything short of a scraper. The 10-second wipe and the 20-minute scrub are the same grease at different ages. 3. Line the burner edges with foil. A thin strip of aluminum foil around the burner edges catches the splatter that would otherwise bake onto your stovetop. When it's dirty, you throw it away and lay down a fresh piece. The surface underneath stays essentially untouched. Cost: pennies. 4. Rinse the rice water into your plants. Traditionally, the starchy water left from rinsing rice wasn't poured away. It was reused for washing or for plants. It reflects a deep cultural instinct against waste. If something still has value, discarding it thoughtlessly is a small failure, oddly satisfying, and free. 5. Stand your sponge upright to dry. A sponge left slumped in the sink stays saturated, and constant moisture plus food residue plus warmth makes it one of the least clean objects in your home, which you then use to clean your dishes. Squeeze it out and stand it where air reaches it. 6. Use the same water for 2 jobs. Rinse vegetables in the bowl of water you just used for something else, rather than running the tap twice. This is the same waste consciousness applied to a resource most of us treat as infinite, and it quietly cuts both your water bill and the mindlessness of the tap. 7. Keep a cloth hanging by the sink, not in a drawer. This sounds trivial and isn't. The moment a tool requires you to go and find it, the friction is enough that you won't bother, and the wipe doesn't happen. Hang it within arm's reach, visible, and the 10-second habits actually get done. 8. Store your knives properly, not loose in a drawer. A knife rattling against other metal dulls and chips fast, which is why people think they need to replace knives. On a magnetic strip or in a block, protected, one good knife stays sharp and lasts decades, which is far cheaper than a rotating cast of bad ones. 9. Put a small dish under your dish soap. Every soap bottle drips, and that drip leaves a sticky ring that collects dust and gets wiped around forever. A small saucer underneath catches it. You wash the saucer occasionally instead of scrubbing the counter constantly. 10. Empty the sink drain catch every night. Food debris sitting in the drain basket overnight is one of the top sources of kitchen odor, and almost nobody thinks to check it. Empty it while it's a 10-second task, rather than leaving it to become something you have to steel yourself for. That's the kitchen. Now the section that matters most if you've ever felt your home is simply too small, because Japan's answer to small spaces isn't more storage, it's something else entirely. Storage and space. 11. Store clothes upright, not stacked. File them vertically in the drawer, like documents instead of stacking in piles. You see every item at once. Nothing gets buried at the bottom, and the drawer stops being an archaeological dig. Works for pans, lids, and files too. 12. Use the walls, not the floor. Hooks, rails, magnetic strips, hanging organizers, horizontal surfaces, floors, counters are precious and limited. They're where you actually live and work. Walls are essentially free real estate almost nobody uses. Move your storage upward and a small room instantly feels larger. 13. Leave one shelf deliberately empty. This feels wasteful, and that instinct is exactly the problem. In Japanese design, empty space isn't a gap waiting to be filled, it's a presence. that lets a room breathe. Every object in your visual field is something your brain quietly processes. Empty space gives it somewhere to rest. 14. Give the no-home objects an actual home. Every household has orphans. The odd tool, the spare cable, the thing that belongs nowhere and therefore ends up everywhere. Clutter forms because putting something away requires deciding where it goes. Assign these one drawer, and the hesitation that causes the drift disappears. 15. Keep the top of the fridge clear. It's the single most commonly cluttered surface in any kitchen. It's at eye level, and it makes a room read as messy faster than almost anything else. It also collects a genuinely impressive layer of airborne kitchen grease and dust that nobody ever cleans. 16. Use flat underbed boxes for off-season things, not as a junk void, labeled, specific, seasonal. Undeliberate underbed storage is just hidden clutter. 17. Store nothing under the sink except cleaning things. Here's the one I promised. The mystery kitchen smell people can never locate is very often a slow leak or damp under the sink, hidden behind a wall of stored junk. Keep that cabinet nearly empty, and you'll spot a problem in week 1 instead of month 6. 18. Hang bags on hooks instead of stacking them. A stack of bags compresses into a pile nobody wants to dig through, so you use the top one forever and forget the rest exist. Hung on hooks, each stays visible and grabbable. The same principle as filing clothes upright. 19. Keep a small basket by the stairs. Anything that belongs upstairs goes in the basket during the day, and you carry the whole thing up on a trip you were making anyway. It eliminates both the drift of objects downstairs and the dozen separate trips you'd otherwise never actually make. 20. Store what you use where you use it. Coffee things by the kettle, cloths by the sink, shoes by the door. It sounds obvious and almost nobody does it. Most homes store by category rather than by use. Every step between an object and its point of use is friction, and friction is what makes you not bother. Bathroom and laundry. The bathroom is where a few seconds of prevention saves you the most money, because it's where neglect turns into the most expensive problems in the house. Mold, limescale, staining. 21. Squeegee the shower glass. 20 seconds, and it's the highest value bathroom habit there is. Soap scum isn't dirt you failed to scrub. It's mineral deposit left behind when hard water evaporates on glass. It's entirely preventable. Remove the water before it dries, and there's nothing left to deposit. You may never deep clean your shower again. 22. Hang the bath mat after every use. Left flat on the floor, a mat is pressed against a cold surface with nowhere for moisture to escape, which is exactly what breeds mildew and that musty bathroom smell you can never locate. Hang it over the tub edge and it dries completely. 23. Cover the bathtub when you're done. A lid or cover does 3 things at once. Keeps the water warm for the next person, cuts the humidity flooding into your bathroom, and stops dust falling in. Standard in Japanese homes, almost unknown elsewhere, and it takes seconds. 24. Wipe the faucet dry. Same mechanism as the shower glass. Hard water carries dissolved minerals, and when a droplet evaporates on metal, it leaves them behind as a spot, then a film, then scale. Wipe the water off before it can dry, and the faucet stays gleaming permanently. No polishing, no descaling. Ever. 25. Air dry your laundry. Ever wonder what the lint in your dryer filter actually is? It's your clothes, fibers torn off by heat and tumbling load after load. A dryer is a machine that slowly disintegrates your clothing while you pay it to. Air drying skips that entirely, so clothes keep their color, shape, and lifespan. 26. Use matching sturdy hangers. Thin wire hangers slowly distort the shoulders of your clothes, leaving those little bumps that never come out. Sturdy matching hangers protect the shape of things you paid for. And as a bonus, a rail of identical hangers makes a wardrobe look instantly calm and intentional. 27. Keep toilet cloths strictly separate. Japanese homes often have dedicated slippers used only in the toilet room, the principle being that what touches the toilet floor stays with the toilet floor. Even without that, the rule holds: the cloth that cleans the toilet never touches anything else in the house. 28. Leave the bathroom door open after showering. Mold is just trapped moisture with nowhere to go. Give it an exit, and it can't establish itself. 29. Keep bathroom surfaces nearly bare. A counter crowded with bottles and jars can't be wiped down in 10 seconds. You'd have to move 15 things first. So you don't. so it never gets cleaned. A clear surface cleans itself in one pass. Storage isn't just tidiness, it's what makes cleaning possible. 30. Air your bedding in the sun. Japanese futons are regularly hung out in the sun and beaten to drive out moisture. Here's why it matters. Your body releases a surprising amount of moisture into bedding every night, and unaired damp bedding is what breeds dust mites and mustiness. Sunlight dries it completely and freshens it in a way washing alone doesn't. The oddly specific ones. And now, the ones that are hardest to categorize, the small, strange, weirdly effective habits that don't belong to any single room, but quietly hold the whole system together. 31. Point your shoes toward the door. Here's the one that's obvious in hindsight. Turn them as you take them off, and tomorrow you step straight in and leave. Every Japanese entryway does this without thinking. It takes half a second and removes a tiny daily friction you never noticed you had. 32. Never leave a room empty-handed. If something in the room belongs elsewhere, grab it on your way out. The average home accumulates dozens of out-of-place objects a day, each one a tiny future task. This clears them continuously, using trips you were already making, so the pile that needs a big tidy-up never forms. 33. Fold the blanket before you leave the couch. 15 seconds, and it genuinely changes how the whole room reads. A folded blanket says, "This space is cared for." A crumpled heap says, "This room just survived a day." Same room, same blanket. The difference is 15 seconds. 34. Wipe as you wait. Kettle boiling, microwave running, water heating. These are dead pockets of time, already scattered through your day, and you're standing there doing nothing. Fill them with a wipe. This is the real secret of the Japanese kitchen. Cleaning isn't scheduled, it's woven invisibly into gaps that already exist. 35. Shake out the doormat regularly. Your doormat does more work than any other object in your home, catching grit that would otherwise be tracked across every floor. But a saturated mat can't catch any more. It just sits there full. Empty it, and it keeps stopping dirt at the first line of defense. 36. Keep the entryway floor completely clear. Nothing on it, ever. No shoes piled up, no boxes, no bags dropped on the way in. In Japan, the entryway is treated as a threshold, and the rule is absolute. Practically, it's the first thing you see coming home, and it sets your mood before you've even taken your coat off. 37. One in, one out. For every new thing that enters your home, one old thing leaves. This single rule permanently stops accumulation, and it quietly forces you to actually want something before you buy it, because now there's a real cost attached. The most effective anti-clutter tool in existence, and it's free. 38. Ask objects if they belong to your life now. Not, might I use this someday? That question keeps everything. Ask instead, is this part of the life I'm actually living today? It's a much harder question and a far more useful one, because it cuts through the just in case that fills every cluttered home. 39. Prepare tomorrow, tonight. 2 minutes before bed, coffee prepped, keys where you'll find them, counter cleared. You're not cleaning. You're handing tomorrow morning you a head start. And a morning that begins in an ordered home starts on a completely different footing than one that begins in chaos. 40. Do it now, not later. The rule underneath all 39. Every mess, every clutter pile, every dreaded chore began as something small that someone decided to handle later. Handle it now while it's still 10 seconds, and later never arrives. The thread running through all 40. Look back at that list and notice what almost none of these are. None of them are about cleaning harder. Not one requires a product, a system, or a spare weekend. Every single one is a form of prevention, a tiny intervention at the exact moment when it costs almost nothing. Dry the sink before bacteria can grow. Wipe the grease before it hardens. Squeegee the water before it deposits. Return the object before it becomes clutter. Ask the question before the thing enters your home at all. That's the actual Japanese secret, and it's the opposite of what most of us were taught. You don't get a clean home by fighting mess after it wins. You get one by intervening a few seconds earlier, over and over, until the mess never forms in the first place. The reason a Japanese home stays effortlessly clean isn't hours of labor. It's that the conditions for mess were quietly removed before anyone had to fight it. And here's what matters most. Don't try to do all 40. That's the trap. The big motivated overhaul that collapses by Wednesday. Pick one. Just one. I'd suggest number 1, dry your sink tonight, 15 seconds. And tomorrow morning, notice what it's like to walk into a kitchen that smells like nothing at all. That one small win is what makes the next one easy. Now I want to hear from you. Which number surprised you the most? And which one are you actually starting with tonight? Drop it in the comments, just the number, and if any of these are going to save you time, share this with someone still losing their whole weekend to a house that never stays clean. I'll see you in the next one.